One, and welcome to the Prince Magnum, where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Do It Yourself Budget Hot Rodding. And today's going to be kind of a tech talk where we kind of start getting ready for the new series. I thought I'd go ahead and kind of get warmed up because I'm going to start filming that tomorrow, depending on how tonight goes and everything. We're probably going to start filming the new series. For our lady hot rodders, we're going to start filming tomorrow. Um, that is, if all goes well. All right. So that is the plan. And I thought I'd even break out a few visual aids and kind of talk a little bit about them. Some old school tech. What's going on? Think different. Yeah, this is not Project Spirit's carburetor. This is one that we were given. And believe it or not, this old carburetor is actually off of an old Ford inline six from the 60s. You could probably even tell by looking at it, it is not, it's old. It's an older one. Um, just one of those things, you know. Um, yep. No, it's a one barrel. It's a one barrel. You can legit see that from the bottom. Just the one. Just an old one barrel carburetor. What's going on, Sean? I haven't seen you in a minute. How you been, buddy? Little old school carb tech today and that sort of thing. Broke out the visual aids and everything. I started talking. Yeah, this is for an inline six. A two barrel you oh, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We finally got our little email saying that it's time to be monetized. So that is a thing. We got to get a couple of bugs worked out of it, but yeah, we're ready to go. But yeah, so I decided tonight would be a great night to break out some old carb tech, talk a little bit about carb technology, some stuff that people don't think about anymore. There we go. I had that all wrong. Can't believe that. You work on these old carbs. Yeah. We're still working out the bugs for all that, but yeah, you get the idea. Um, but yeah, basically old one barrel carburetor for an inline six. I think this might actually belong on one of the truck versions. Looking at it, it looks like it. Yeah, it's an old motorcraft. I know it's a little bit different than what you would typically find on something like Project Spirit. They had some weird stuff on those. I actually seen one that the hot air choke ran to the base plate. Well, a line from the radiator ran to the bottom of the base plate, like down here, ran through it, and that operated the hot air choke. So basically, yeah, I can find a rebuild kit. It's just like your GMs. You basically got to get the number from the side of the carburetor. You get the number from the side of the carburetor, like right here. You get the number and you can legit get a rebuild kit for it. And this ironically, like I said, if I remember correctly, this is one from the 60s. No, I'm sorry, there's the number. Get the number from the side. It's just like a GM, just like the old Rochester Quadrajets. You get the number from the side and you take it in and you can get a rebuild kit for it. It'll have the year and everything. The year they needed to use that rebuild kit. It'll be listed. Napa's the best place to get a rebuild kit, though. I mean, there's other places that sell it, but Napa's the best that I have found. You don't get any better than getting a rebuild kit from Napa Auto Parts. It's the best spot to get them. But yeah, you can get rebuild kits for just about any carburetor you want. Uh, Now, I will tell you, I was going to talk a little bit about this tonight with old carburetor tech. And I know you know this one, Think Different. I know you know about this. One of the reasons why the old Rochester's got a bad rap, because I actually like Rochester Quadrajets. And how many times we always heard them called Quadra Junk? Think Different. I know you heard that. Oh, yeah, that's the best place to go with it. But how many times you ever hear with the old Rochester Quadrajets? They called them, yeah, they always called them Quadra Junk. Do you know why they got that bad rap? Because I think you might know that. I know you're a GM guy like me. You're more of a GM guy than anything else. So I know you know this one because they were so dang sensitive that if you warp the body on them, they would immediately they'd leak gas that rebuild kits wouldn't take, and you'd rebuild them a million times, and a rebuild kit wouldn't take, and then people would yank them off and go directly to a Holly or something like that, and that was a common thing because they were so fickle. You had to put the bolts back in just right. You could not if you over yeah, they were junk. That is what everyone thought. But I have always had good ones. I've never had one go bad on me. Every time I had one rebuilt and put it on an old Chevy small block, they always performed well. And in most cases, they outperform the aftermarket carburetors 1,000 times over. Yep, Edelbrock. Actually, I hate Edelbrock carburetors. I like Holly and AFB Carters. I like the old AFB Carters, believe it or not. The old AFB Carters, that's a carburetor out of the past now. The old AFB Carters, those are damn good carburetors. Yeah, now, yeah, I prefer Hollies over the rest of them. But Quadrajet always, but believe it or not, if you can get a Quadrajet with a straight body on it and put a good rebuild in it, and you're not putting a bigger one on the engine than you're supposed to, like just a good stock four barrel put back together right, and you didn't over torque the fucking bolts. Believe it or not, those things will outperform pretty much anything. That's how good the Rochesters were. They were amazing, but nobody knows that. And for the record, Rochester also made a fuel injection system back in the 1950s and into the 60s. Most people forget that Rochester did have, yep, Rochester did have their own fuel injection system on Chevy small blocks starting in 1957 and was discontinued after 1965. That is an unknown fact. But mechanics back then didn't know how to work on them, so most of the time the owners of the car would have the fuel injection system yanked off of them because no one knew how to work on them. It was a simple system. It was so simple. It actually, from what I understand, there was no computer to function on it, but it actually outperformed what we see today, better than what we see today, from what I understand. The only problem that it really had back then was the injector kept getting clogged because of the leaded fuel. Every 3 months, you were changing the injectors. That was why. Yeah, it was old technology well, it worked on old technology. Could you imagine that today, with some of you know, basically being brought up to speed, if you will, no pun intended, that system being brought up to speed, being put on engines the old school engines today with what we know about the internals of engines, well, about machining and things like that. Could you? Yeah, yeah, that was a thing though. You got to remember that leaded fuel was a thing all the way up until 1970. And most people don't even know what the lead was actually for. No one really, some people swore up and down it was for octane, and no, it wasn't. It had nothing to do with octane. As a matter of fact, there's actually a reference to it, to putting lead in the fuel, in a Three Stooges episode. That this is not a joke. There's actually a reference to it. Um, Back in the old days, the valve seats in your engines were not hardened; they were soft, and you would get this knocking noise from the heads. So some wiseacre got the idea of adding lead to the gasoline, and the lead just lubricated the valves, acted like graphite. Like putting graphite inside of your of hang on, your speedometer cable, and basically causing it to basically act as a lubricant. That's what the lead was actually for, and it got rid of that little pinging sound from your engine. And there was actually a reference to that in a Three Stooges episode. I cannot remember which one, but I know it's there. And most people don't even know that one. This is now I'm getting into where I really know my stuff right now. But It had nothing to do with it had nothing to do with octane. Even Scotty Kilmer gets that wrong. It had nothing to do with octane. And when the EPA, which was formed close to 19, it was around 1968, 1969, when the EPA was formed, and they said no more lead in gasoline. Car manufacturers had to rush to basically create a design for the heads that would allow for non-leaded gasoline to stop that pinging noise, that little tapping noise. And that's all the lead was there for, was to keep that from happening. And all they did was harden the valve seat. Oh yeah, he's amazing. He's a great mechanic, but there is some things that he doesn't actually know. There's a couple of things. And ironically, hey, what's going on, J-Dog? We're talking old school car technology, old school car tech. I actually, yeah, you seen the thumbnail. This is actually from an old carburetor for a Ford inline six back in the day. And believe it or not, I know this thing looks like it belongs on a tractor, but that was the technology in the 60s. That was all the great muscle car performance that you heard about in the 60s was based on carburetor technology, just like this. And even though this is for the inline six, which Ford did make the best inline sixes, everybody knows that. Right behind them, General Motors made the best inline sixes. Now I know some of you are going to say, "Well, what about Mopar?" They had slant sixes. They had slant sixes. I don't. That's a whole different category. They were in a category all their own. Um, yeah, Mopar was doing something totally different. And if you're wondering who Mopar is, that's Dodge, Chrysler, and Plymouth. That's Mopar. Okay, so if you ever hear me say that, that's the old term for those three companies, for Plymouth, Chrysler, and Dodge. I don't do the. Oh yeah, the DeLorean. Ironically enough, that used, I think, some that used a Swedish four-cylinder. John DeLorean wanted a V6 in it, but he wasn't able to basically to make the car launch on time. He wasn't able to do it, and he had to opt for a four-cylinder from Sweden, and I think it might have been actually from Volvo, which it was a good engine. It was a really good engine. It just wasn't that fast. So basically, you had a sports car with a rear engine, rear wheel drive design, very similar to the Volkswagen Beetle, the original ones, that particular setup, and it just wasn't. It basically, you had a sports car that wasn't fast, and that was one of the major downfalls of the DeLorean, but it had a lot of technology. It definitely could have been the sports car of the future if John DeLorean would not have been caught up in that whole scandal. And for those that don't know, John DeLorean, the guy who started the DMC company, the DeLorean Motor Company, he was actually a bigwig at GM at one time. He was one of the masterminds behind the Pontiac GTO, the originals. He was one of the masterminds behind that. If that's any indication who he really was. And if I remember correctly, basically he got caught up in a scandal where they basically said that he was involved with cocaine trafficking. He wasn't, but he was caught up in that. And he was caught, basically it was a scandal started by General Motors, Ford, and Mopar to basically put him out of business, because his company stood to really take off. I mean, he was the mastermind behind the GTO, the original Pontiac GTO. So it stood to reason that he was gonna blow them all away, you know. So they came up with that. That was why the DeLorean failed. Which ironically, the DeLorean Motor Company is still around. You can actually still buy the DeLoreans. You can still buy them brand new. Unfortunately, they're special order. They will not assemble one until you place an order for it. But the DeLorean Motor Company is still around. They still exist. And you can buy them brand new. You can still buy them brand new, from what I understand. Unfortunately, most of the time now it's reproduction parts. It's that they're not being made in house like they used to be, but you can still buy them. Most people do. Most people want the basically to look just like it did in the movie. I believe they are. I believe they are. Yeah, if I remember correctly, they're out of Texas. Most people don't even know that the Corvette, the General Motors the Chevrolet Corvette has its own factory that's in right, right. Um, the Corvette factory. I have watched Eric the Car Guy. He's actually pretty good. I do like his work. But if I remember correctly, the Corvette factory for Chevrolet is actually in Tennessee. And I know that whole big sinkhole thing was a big to do because there was a lot of Corvettes, some really rare Corvettes, like one of a kinds that were in that museum that collapsed into that sinkhole. And they spent a good while retrieving those because those were one of a kind, like the Blue Devil Corvette. I mean, just extremely rare Corvettes that really I mean, we're talking rare, one of a kind. What's going on, Simon? Good to see you. Right. Now, myself personally, I like Biff Tannen's Mercury. I love that Mercury. Oh my God. From Back to the Future. I love that Mercury. And y'all can't tell me that isn't a freaking cool I'm sorry. I think that's an old 1944 or something like that. I'd have to go back and look now. But I like Biff Tannen's car. That's a gorgeous ride. You all can't tell me that beautiful black. I know it's a Ford product. Yep. I know it's an old Ford product. I can't remember if it's a Mercury or if it's an old Ford. But that black convertible with that red interior, gorgeous ride. Woo! I'll tell you another one that's a good looking car. The Oldsmobile, 47 Ford. Okay, yeah. But the Mercury around that same time looked a lot like it. Yeah. I'll tell you another one that's a good one. That 50s Oldsmobile from the movie Rain Man. Another gorgeous ride. Oh man. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, my favorite time era for cars is the 1950s. Gorgeous cars that came out of the 1950s. Oh, y'all can't tell me the 57 Chevy isn't a gorgeous ride. Y'all say that 57 Chevy, yeah, I'm on the wrong channel right now. I'm telling you, beautiful car. 57 Chevy, come on. Who's with me on that? Or the 1957 was a good year for cars, period. 57 Ford Fairlane. Oh yeah, there's actually someone I think I seen one not too long ago. Someone else did one. But y'all can't tell me that you don't like the 1950s had some gorgeous looking cars. 57 Ford Fairlane. Come on. The movie Ford Fairlane with Andrew Dice Clay in it. That beautiful 57 Ford Fairlane convertible. You know that with that neat looking drop top on. Oh man, y'all can't tell me. Shoot, I only watched the movie for the first half just because of that car. As soon as the car blows up, I'm done. It's like, fuck it, I'm done. I can't watch anymore. There's no reason. I like Andrew Dice Clay, but I mean, the damn car made the movie. I'm telling you, that was the reason why you watched it. You know, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. I know he gets a bad rap for but it's a good movie. You know, who's with me? 57, 1957, best year for cars. Oh yeah, okay, 1960 Cadillac. Yep. El Dorado. I like the 59 a little bit more. Oh yeah, absolutely, J Dog. I'll agree with you on that. All right, who's with me on this? Uh, the 1959 Cadillac El Dorado. Those fins are gorgeous too. Um, you know, Elvis Presley's pink Cadillac, that the 1959 Cadillac El Dorado. Come on, who's with me on this one? Yep, there it is. There it is. See? Wait for it. Wait for it. Elvis Presley's pink Cadillac. Y'all got to be with me on that. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Myself personally, I love them. Honestly, I one of my dreams is to redo one of the old Willys Overland Jeeps from World War II. That has been one of my dreams to actually rebuild one and to deck it out just as it would have been in World War II and basically use it in parades. Hi, honey. Okay, baby. Who's with me on that? Willys Overland, the World War II Jeeps, which I know Ford also had contracts to build those as well. Ford did, and I know eventually AMC. That's a dream of mine to completely restore one. Yep, the original Jeeps, which the original Jeeps, even the Wranglers, the ones that basically are the continuation of the original military Jeeps, still suffer the same exact problems that they did all the way back in World War II. They all do. I know they've got other lines now. Right. I heard about that. Yep. Oh, those were amazing. Amazing little four-wheel drives. They weren't meant for speed, but they were meant to go off-road. But they all suffered one problem. If you got them on a steep enough incline, they would roll over. They can be. You just got to know where to look. But you can still get all the reproduction stuff. You can get it all. I would mount like a movie style 30 cal on it. Basically, it would look like it's real, but it would be a non-functioning one. But I would mount I would do just like that. Mount like a 30 cal, the Browning 30 cal on it, and actually put in like dummy rounds and everything just to make it look like it's right out of the war. Um, I really want to redo some old World War II vehicles, like staff cars and things like that. I would love to do that, or like some old Deuces, the old Ducks, right? That is an old TV show. I love that TV show. The ending, the final episode was amazing. It was just like, wow. Oh, I did too as a kid. I did too. My dad actually was kind enough to tell me, he's like, if it had not been for the TV show and for the movie, I mean, if we would have forgotten Korea. Good to see you, Bad Bad. Good to see you, buddy. But yeah, most people don't even realize that we would have forgotten Korea if it had not been for um there you go. You could buy 50 cal rounds all day long. You could buy them. Just don't expect to get a Ma Deuce. For those that don't know, the Ma Deuce is actually what our military actually calls the 50 cal Browning machine gun. It's the M2 Browning, and it is a nasty customer. So nasty, in fact, that even military personnel today says anybody who tries to replace Ma Deuce is an idiot. That's it. Literally, what they still say today. It said my both my brothers, one of them who served in Afghanistan and in Iraq. Hey, what's going on, Miss Kelly? And my other brother, who currently serves right now, I think he's in Colorado as a staff sergeant himself, says anybody who tries to replace Ma Deuce, minigun on Project Lena, that would be interesting. Actually, you know, it's so good to see you. Miss Kelly, we were actually starting to talk a little bit about old carburetor technology. Yep, yep. But yeah, this is an actual carburetor from like out of the 60s. This is actually an old school carburetor right out of the 60s. And then I believe this is one that belonged on a truck, if I remember correctly. Um, but yeah, it actually doesn't it look like it actually kind of belongs on a tractor? And again, that is the technology that we used. This is actually something that basically the technology you're looking at, um, in a nutshell, this would have been, I mean, internally, this is the same technology that it definitely belongs. Yeah, it's a one barrel. Yeah. Believe it or not, I mean, this is the tech that made our muscle car era, and it looks like it belongs on a tractor. Now I'm gonna really surprise you. Hey, think different. You're gonna lose it now. An old distributor for a Ford inline six. This is actually what yeah. This one here, the pickup coil is actually ridiculously easy to get to. Yeah, this is what Project Spirit's distributor looks like outside of the engine. This is it. I need to break one out sometime to show you how easy there's really nothing to this tech. But yeah, this is literally what Project Spirit, this will actually plug right in, and all we have to do is, get it top dead center and adjust the timing, and it's ready to go. Actually, where I live, you can actually go shopping and see people carrying a gun right on their hip. But yeah, it's not really that big, to be honest with you. It's really not. For the V8s, this gets bigger. They get much bigger than this in the V8s. But this is for a six cylinder. Yeah. Oh, here you go. No, she hasn't got on to save the world yet for me to hand it over. The cap, it doesn't have one yet, but I can legit just put a cap right on it, ready to go. And of course, the rotor bug just hooks in right there. Everything just plugs right in, just like that. Ridiculously easy. Hey, what's going on, Jesse? Good to see you, buddy. But yeah, that's it. I mean, legit, this is, without a question, I mean, this will legit drop into Project Spirit's six cylinder. So I mean, literally the let me see if I can explain. This was just shortly after they got rid of the mechanical distributors and they went over to electronic distributors. That's why there's a pickup coil in it and not points. Okay. Now, for those who don't know, in the 1960s, and I've talked about this, in the 1960s, Yeah, I know. I'm probably going to go on tonight and see about getting them. So if you're interested, Bad Bat, holler at me. We'll go. We'll go together. I'll wait. I'm probably going to start, getting ready for that. I know Princess. Actually, I might have to wait till my morning time, which will be in your afternoon time tomorrow to do it, because of the fact that I know Princess Faye wants to do it. So might see about getting a team together and we'll go get them. Hey, what's going on, Garrett? Good to see you. But yeah, so this technology replaced the points, which with points you had to take them out, you had to change them, you had to set them, and within a few months, I mean, all the old cars from the '60s had that horrible gas smell. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It, think different. I know you do, Sean. I know you do too. Oh, remember how the old cars back in the day had that horrible gas smell when they ran? Stop me if I'm wrong. They had that gas smell at the exhaust. I know some people think that's really cool, but it's not supposed to do that. That's a bad thing. That's a really bad thing, but they all did it. I know you guys know about this. Bad, bad, you are, yes. But yeah, I mean, stop me if I'm wrong. I mean, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. How in the old days, um, all the cars, like the performance cars in the 1960s, know how I said that. Yeah. Well, the reason why they had that horrible gas smell, carbon monoxide does not have a smell. It does not have any odor whatsoever. Okay, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Had that 302 and have that gas smell to it. Had that horrible gas smell. Well, there's a reason why. The mechanical distributors of the time did not burn the fuel efficiently. The electronic distributors did a much better job of burning the gasoline more efficiently. So all of them had that horrible gas smell. So by 1974, when they phased out the mechanical distributors and changed over to the electronic distributors, that was literally in the 1970s. That was literally the biggest leap forward in technology. And by far, if they would have stayed with the carburetor technology, honestly and truthfully, we had, with that and the improvements that we made internally to carburetors at the time, and then you up the compression ratio. That's funny as hell. Yeah, yep, yep. See? So that's why carbon monoxide poisoning is so easy to, that when it starts happening, it's easy to be actually poisoned with carbon monoxide because it does not have a smell. It does not smell. You cannot smell it. So if your gas furnace starts leaking carbon monoxide into your home, you will not know it. That's why you have to put the detectors up. Yeah. So literally that's why, okay? Carbon monoxide poisoning is so dangerous. Most people don't even think about that. Most people, yep. Uh, yeah, that's spooky stuff, Miss Kelly. You better be careful. And wow, I'm glad you're okay. So with carburetor tech, internally, these got better in the '70s. Most people don't even realize how good these got. I mean, they started doing these different chambers and things like that, and the problems with the chokes got better. Uh, Matter of fact, Project Spirit, Her choke doesn't even work, and she'll still start. Wow. What a fucking turd. I'm sorry, I shouldn't use that kind of language. There's ladies present. But basically, I'm getting warmed up for the new Hot Rod series, kind of a mini series. We're going to see how this turns out. But the first one is going to be a blatant slap to the face to the guys. It's going to be a blatant slap to the face. Because guys have been falling down on the job of working on cars, and now there are more women doing custom cars than the men here in the United States. There are more women doing custom cars. Right, Miss Kelly? I keep wondering when Miss Kelly's gonna start rocking a custom car. Yep. I'm wondering when that's gonna happen. That's gonna be freaking cool. But I know some people are upset because we're gonna be swapping out Project Spirit's inline six for a V8. And our think different, you know what I'm probably gonna do. You know I'm gonna find something so old school it's unbelievable. There you go. There you go, Miss Kelly. You want something built, you holler at me. I'll tell you. I'll give you all the inside track. We'll start perusing. We'll start perusing around for you. We'll find you something cool. Raven always says that he can handle a car a lot like I do. Bad, you got to go back and check that one video out. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. You got to go back and take a look at that one video where Project Spirit. That's funny. I remember the old Plymouth Sundances. I remember those. My grandparents actually had one for a while. Bad, that's funny. He says he can handle a car like I do. There's actually video footage where, yeah, you remember the old Sundances? There's actually a guy that I used to work with that actually had turned a Plymouth Sundance into a show car. This is not a joke. He actually turned a Plymouth Sundance into a show car. I'm like, of all the cars, how weird can that be? Oh my God, when they brought the Novas back, which was some freaking what was it? Wasn't it just a Toyota Corolla in a different package? Right, the 92? Yeah, I remember those. I remember the old Sun dances. Yeah, the old 80s Novas. They brought those back, and all that was just a rebranded, yeah, just a rebadged Toyota Corolla. That's like the old Chevy Love pickups. That was the old Datsun pickup, just rebranded. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you have to give me some. Yep. I remember the old Chevy Loves, the old Chevy Love pickups. Those are neat though. Those little trucks go forever. The old Datsun pickup trucks. I have a joke about the old Datsun pickups. Um, and I told this one day in the middle of Walmart. I told this joke. What is it? What is it? Yeah, oh shoot, yeah, think different. The old Datsun pickups were just they were so the The bodies would rust off before the truck would actually give out. They were good little trucks. You just couldn't beat them. They wouldn't break, you know? That doesn't surprise me. A lot of your old racers did like the old Mopar. Rodson, yeah. Actually, there's a joke that I tell about the old Datsun pickups. And the joke is that Japan, there you go. Yep, yep. Oh yeah, those things run forever. But yeah, the old Toyota pickups, yeah, they were indestructible little trucks. Yeah, the old Toyotas, yeah. The Aliens APC, there you go. Um, the joke about the old Datsun pickups was Japan called some guy over in Germany who's good at naming stuff, says, "Hey, we need a name for our car company. Could you help us out? You're good at naming things, and you know, could you help us out?" And the guy says, "Yeah, yeah, I'll come up with a name. Um, when do you need it?" And it's on a Friday, and they said, "Can you have can you have us a good name by Monday?" And he's like, because he's German, he speaks with an accent, and he says, "Dot soon," and and they're like, "Perfect," and that's how the truck got its name. I'm waiting. Yeah, that's an old joke I tell every now and again. But I actually told that in the middle of Walmart, and people just thought that was hilarious. Waiting for it. I'll wait for everyone to start laughing at that because I think it's a cute joke. I'm sorry. But yeah, them old, there it was. There it was. Oh man. The Datsun pickup. Um, but yeah, a lot of people like the old Dodges. And here's the honest to goodness truth. In the old days, when it came to the big four, okay, because most people soon the in the big four in the old days, most people tend to forget there was a fourth American car company that was amazing, and it was a merger that happened in the 1950s. We'll get to that in a minute. But there was two, well, there was three we always think of Mopar, which is Dodge, Chrysler, and Plymouth, again, for those keeping score. General Motors and Ford. Those are the ones that everyone always thinks about, but there used to be AMC. We'll get to all that in a moment. If you wanted, um, those were good those were neat. I do like those. If you're going to talk about Ford trucks, I'll tell y'all right now, the original Broncos. I don't care which version you want to talk about, all the way up until they discontinued them, and now I know they're wanting to bring them back. And no, that is not a Bronco. That's a big giant turd. I'm talking the originals, the old Broncos. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go look that up now. I forgot. I'm gonna have to go look that up. GMC, yeah, that they made Mazda. Okay, Mazda. There it is. Which I'm not a big fan of the Mazdas. I know some people love the Mazda rotary engines. I mean, there's an entire, you know, in the hot rod community, there's an entire group of people that rotary, Wankel rotary engine. That's the way it is. And I know there's a bunch of people like that out there. Apex Seals. Yep. Based on the B series. Yep. Which those little Mazda pickups weren't bad. They weren't bad. I've seen quite a few people that, that love them, still drive them to this day. The old ones out of the 80s. I'm just not a fan. I mean, they're good little trucks, though. They're really good little trucks. Oh, don't even get me started on that. Ford trying to make the Mustang its own brand. Fucking stupid bullshit. Sorry. I shouldn't be talking like that. Okay. Ford is going to have to get, well, look at what they're trying to do to the Maverick. They're trying to bring the Maverick back as a pocket pickup. The Maverick is not a pocket pickup. I will be glad to drive up there to Dearborn with Project Spirit and show them what a Maverick actually is. Fucking retards. The Maverick is not a pocket pickup. It is an economy car with a sporty look. That is the Maverick. Ford, get it right. Do I need to call up there again and tell you don't screw up something good? You can't screw up a classic. You can't do that. But they will. They'll bend it over, no lube. Okay? They're doing it to the Mustang now. The Mustang is not its own brand. Okay? Hey, what's going on? Mikey G. We're talking old school carb tech. Matter of fact, I was actually showing off. This is not the one that goes into... Okay, well... Right. Here you go, Mikey G. It's not the one from, but this is the same distributor that goes into Project Spirit's inline 6. Same exact type. Just plugs right in, put it in top dead center, put a cap and rotor bug on it, make all the adjustments, and she's ready to go. But yeah, same exact type. Pickup coils right there. That's ridiculously easy to change. Nothing to it. Could use good cleaning though. A little bit of a cleaning. Yep, same exact type of distributor that's in Project Spirit. Gives her that distinctive, mean sound for that 6-cylinder. Who doesn't love Project Spirit, right? Well, I take that back. There is a few of you that like Project Lena more than Project Spirit. Hashtag triggered. Yeah, they're just don't even get me started. I know some people are going to call up there. They're lucky I haven't called. Saying, do not fuck with a good thing, you sons of bitches. That is not a Maverick. Do I need to drive up to Dearborn and show you what a Maverick is? I mean, I got no problem with a road trip. I will bring you mine and show you what a Maverick actually is. I will call the International Maverick and Comet Association, and we'll bring our Mavericks out to you guys and show you what it looks like. I'm not even a member, but I'll be glad to call them up and say, hey, man, we got to go up there and show them what a Maverick actually is. Yeah, Ian's more of a fan of Project Lena. I'll tell you what, check the, we got time. Let's take a walk. I could use a cigarette anyways. I'm cool with it. I think it's neat. I think that's neat. I wouldn't mind doing something like that at some point in time. Stuff. I like to, especially if the car really, other than if at some point it can't be put back together original or turned into a custom, maybe the frame is gone. Yeah, right. It's okay, bad. We're not going to be. Right? We're going to take a walk-see real quick and try not to disturb poor Princess Faye. She's got to work tonight. I'm scared of the dark. Somebody hold me. All right. We'll step outside real quick. I could use a cigarette. But, all right, Bad. I don't know if you've ever gotten a real good look, but that is Project Lena. That is Project Spirit. Project Lena. Project Spirit. I'm waiting for it. Ian's a big fan of Project Lena more than he is Project Spirit. But most everyone... Okay. Now you get to hear... Too dark. Project Spirit, I have had all the way up to 130 miles per hour, which is, I forget how much that is in kilometers. I'll have to look that up again. But Project Spirit, I've had up to 130 miles per hour. Project Lena, I know that she can go with the rev limiter right now still in place. Project Lena will top out at 120. If you go in and have a reflash done to the ECU, Project Lena would be able to top out at around 150 miles an hour. Okay, so you know exactly what I'm... Well, of course, because I know who that one dislike is. The one person. Because he knows that there's a video coming where I'm going to ask him if he wants to race. Because if he doesn't, there's someone within the Eclipse that's going to help me, that I know if I ask them, going to help me expose him for who he really is. And no more YouTube channel after that. I know you don't, Bad. I know who it is. It's my stalker. Do I race anymore? Not officially. Not officially. Beat him with a run. Actually, Project Spirit does have some rust, but it's not near as bad as what most of the Mavericks were and still end up looking like. Project Spirit is actually 46 years old. She's almost 50 years old. And the condition that she's in, that's actually really good. Because we're talking about a car that can still lay down serious hate with a non-performance six-cylinder. You know, a non-performance six-cylinder from the 70s that's low compression can still lay down hate at almost half a century later. Think about that a moment. Y'all imagine if I decided to pull that engine apart and have a balance and blueprint done to it. Right? Have a balance and blueprint done to the engine. Then have the crankshaft turned down 0.010 of an inch. Have the connecting rods resized. Then go with the 200 six-cylinder pistons from the same exact time. Okay, just have the cylinders honed out, but go with the pistons, which actually was slightly larger in compression because the inline 250 from 1975 used a 8-to-1 compression ratio, but the 206 cylinder from 1975 used an 8.3 to 1 compression ratio. We're eventually going to do that. If the channel gets big enough, we're just going to actually go in and build an actual racer. I'm basically going to build one from tear it apart and build it from the ground up, old school style. And I already know what I'm looking for in that area. Basically, build it for track day, bro. Not drift, but we're talking like your SCCA style club car racing. Old school stuff. That is a hope to actually have a car that represents the channel in club races. Why not build and sell cars? I'll be absolutely honest with you. The way people treat cars in general, build your own go-kart track. I've thought about that too. But then, you got the liability of all the kids. Mm-mm. And kids today, they're not near as respectful as they used to be. So you're talking, it's more hassle than that's worth. That's one of the reasons why I won't do anything like that. You got to buy the property to do it. But I'm seriously considering actually building a club racer at some point. I would like to do it. Princess Faye she likes the drag strip. She loves the drag strip. That was cool. Oh, Le Mans? Oh man. You're talking, I would have to do like the historical cars then. And I don't know if they still do historic Le Mans races, the historical cars for Le Mans. That would be cool. Oh, real quick, for those who don't know, I mentioned the Pontiac GTO earlier. Most people don't even know what GTO stands for. I do. I actually know. I actually know what it stands for. It's Italian. Gran Turismo Omologato. That's what GTO actually stands for the Pontiac. Oh, you're the lemon drop races. Yeah, that's neat. Princess Faye is sleeping right now. I'm trying to. Exactly, Bad Bat. Exactly. There was a meme that was going around on Facebook where I live. There was a meme that was making its way around. Said, "No butt whooping ever hurt me. My mom killed me once." I'm like, yeah, yeah, a lot to that. Where I live, that's still a thing. Parents, Yep, Gran Turismo Omologato, and it had all to do with racing. And basically, it's a racing thing, and it's all Italian. Um, and for those that don't know, Motor Trend magazine actually got its start because GM laid a challenge down to I think it was Ferrari, if I remember correctly. Ferrari, they challenged Ferrari, and they wanted to run against a specific type of Ferrari. Enzo Ferrari had wanted nothing to do with it. They say that he couldn't find the one that they wanted to go against. They wanted to put the '64 GTO against. Von Terror. Yeah, that would be cool. There are some guys up there that really, I mean, they got some fast freaking cars. No, it doesn't stand for gas, tires, and oil. Yeah, she does work pretty hard. Um, Myself personally, I got nothing against the GTOs. I love the GTOs, but I would rather have a Le Mans, a Pontiac Le Mans, or a Pontiac Tempest. I actually like the Tempest a little bit more. Oh no, the Pontiac GTO was a really wicked car back in its day, and it actually started the muscle car era. Fight me in the comments if you guys would like. But that really did kick off the muscle car era. That's when we started hearing the term about, the muscle car era was in the magazines around that time, talking about the performance, the muscle performance of the GTO. That's when it actually started. Now, to really kind of, when you hear the term muscle car, that term doesn't actually exist. That term is kind of a made up term that started coming up after the muscle car era died. The Chevy 2 Nova was actually not meant to be a performance car. It never really was. The Chevy 2 was designed to compete directly against the Ford Falcon in the 1960s. And the Ford Falcon was an economy car. It always was. And as a matter of fact, the original Chevy 2s that came out, originally in 1964, I'm sorry, 1962. The 1962 Chevy 2 Novas only came with 4 cylinders and 6 cylinders. That's it. And all the way up until 1970, you could get a 4-cylinder for a Nova. They weren't that popular, but they did exist. You could get hey, what's going on, third gen? We just stepped outside for a quick cigarette, but we've been talking old tech. And I actually just showed off an old carburetor, and I know you've seen me show it off before, and we showed off a spare distributor that we have for Project Spirit's Old 6. I don't know if it's been saying that. It shouldn't, because I'm not in the launcher right now. I'm nowhere near the launcher. I'm not even near my computer. It's actually off. It may be running in the background, but I'm not in the launcher right now. I know sometimes it does that with other people. I know it says that whenever you're not on, sometimes. Does it really? Wow, that's screwed up. But yeah, but yeah, most the muscle car era, the term muscle car came up later after the era was pretty well over. And as a matter of fact, I actually talked to a guy who lived during the time when the cars were new, and he's like, that's a made up term, man. He's like, we just called it performance. You either got the performance package that came with the car or you didn't. And most of the time, most people couldn't afford even as cheap as they were by today's standards. Back then, it was too expensive for most normal people to afford the performance car, the performance package. So most of us got mid-entry, mid-level or low performance V8s, and then we built them ourselves from there. That was all we needed, because there was no, back then, there was no warranty to void. So screw it. We yanked out what we didn't want and we put in what we did want. And he's like, that's the way we did it back then. He's like, I don't know where they get this idea that there was, that those were muscle. He's like, he said, that's the dumbest fucking shit I ever heard in my life. He said, that term didn't exist. He said, that's all magazine jerk off bullshit anyways. That man is actually gone, and he ran moonshine in the 50s. And he'll tell you that he loved his old Fords from the 50s. Matter of fact, when he passed away, he actually owned a custom built 1949 Mercury. Okay, the bar that connects it in is different on the manuals. I got to get that bar that it connects to, because we don't want to chop that one that's in there, because it can be chopped and shortened, but we don't want to do that because we still got all the stuff for the original manual, and my son wants that. He wants to build his own manual driven Maverick. Yeah, my son wants his own Maverick. So, yeah, that's the thing. He wants to build his own. He wants to do He wants to do one with the with a V8 and a 3-speed manual. Sounds old school, doesn't it? Seriously old school. I'm like, that's my boy. So guess who's looking for another Maverick? God damn it, son. Did you stream Fortnite earlier? That's awesome. Pontiac Trans, I wouldn't mind doing a Pontiac Trans Am, but I know somebody who is that got third gen. He's got a third generation Pontiac Trans Am. Gorgeous looking car. I can't wait till he's finished with it to see what it really looks like. He's been working on that a good minute. Third gen, you'll have to tell us a little bit about it, or well, one of these days I'm gonna have to actually interview you and have you tell us about your car and maybe get some pictures and all that other good stuff. That's gonna be freaking cool. I can't wait. That's gonna be one sweet ride. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people love those cars is because of the kit from Knight Rider. That's why a lot of people love them still. I like them for that reason alone. But I'll tell you right now, second generation Trans Ams, Smokey and the Bandit. Come on, who's with me? I love those even more. I love those old Trans Ams. They did use a third generation in Smokey and the Bandit 3, which I know some people don't really like that movie, because Burt Reynolds wasn't it. But at that time he was going through the divorce with Lonnie Anderson. He was in the middle of that divorce with Lonnie Anderson. And that's why he wasn't able to do that movie, was for that reason alone. That's why he only had the cameo at the end, is because he was in the middle of that divorce with Lonnie Anderson. Which I've actually now, it's marked off my bucket list. I actually got to see Smokey and the Bandit in a drive-in movie theater right after a car show. That was fucking cool. And if you've never experienced anything like that, you really haven't had the opportunity. Trying to watch it at home now is just not the same. It's just not the same after seeing it in a drive-in theater. They were and they weren't. I do like the second one. I'm not going to lie. I like the second one. I don't like it as much as I did the first one, but I like the second one. The third one was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. Days of Thunder, that's a good movie. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is a good movie. I always felt Days of Thunder was... I live in an apartment complex. We can't do anything like that. I wouldn't mind doing something like that at some point. Yeah, second one was okay. Which that one had the supercharged. Uh, Trans Am. Yep. Oh God, yes. Yeah, you're talking. There was actually someone who had a huge sound system and no one had to turn the dang thing on. It was cool. I loved it because Project Spirit still doesn't have a radio in her. I'm not in a hurry on it. It's not on my priority list right now. Right now, we got to get Project Lena squared away. Would I? Yes, I would. If I ever get the opportunity, that's really what I wouldn't mind building as a club racer, is an old second generation Trans Am or Camaro. Trans Am, Firebird, Camaro. Any one of those three, I would easily do as a club racer. And I want to, eventually. Because I really like those the most. Those are my favorites. Which second generation Camaros don't get enough credit for being good looking cars. I think they're gorgeous. And my personal favorite is the last, 78 to 81, because in 82, that's when they changed the body style to the third generation. which I got nothing against the third generations. I think they're good looking cars too. And I got nothing against first generations. Unfortunately, my job won't let me do something like that. That would be cool though. Actually, today for work, because business has been slow, I parked my car near the road so people would see it, and people will come through the drive-through at that point just to see the car. That I actually did that today, and we increased our sales like double. It's sad. I will do stuff like that. No, I told the boss yesterday I was going to, and I know she'll say sales were up. Yeah, Wednesday. What happened? Oh, I parked my car closer to the road so people would see it and come by, and it doubled our sales. I do stuff like that. One of the reasons why I'm a valued employee at that restaurant. because because I drive an old car and people will come by just to see it. It's cool as hell. It's cool as hell. Where I live, it does not matter. And Think Different will tell you. He will tell you. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Park it, easy money for the store. I will tell you all. And Think Different will tell you this. That car is very popular where I live. It's very popular. People love that car. They love that car. I can't go anywhere without people saying, "Man, I love your car," or I've actually had people walk up to me and say, "I don't even know your name, but I know your car." I'm like, "Yep, that's a thing. This is not a joke. Not a joke." I've had people tell me that if I go to sell it, I have to tell them if I go to sell it. They have I have gotten raises because I've that car bringing in more business. I've actually gotten a couple raises over that. We have people that'll come by just to see the car. We will. It didn't matter if I was in Farmington, Fredericktown, doesn't matter. We will have people come by just to see the car. The car doesn't give autographs. I actually have some really interesting stories about that car. Um, we hadn't even the car hadn't even been on the road for a month. And I was over at Princess Faye's job one day picking her up from work. Yeah, I know. We actually had a police officer, an off-duty Farmington police officer, tell me one day. He said, "You ever get rid of that car, you better let me know." He said, "If you don't, you and I will have words." I'm like, "Oh shit, damn police coming down on me now." Oh yeah, oh yeah. People love that old car. And there was one day. I mean, like I said, I went over to pick up Princess Faye from work, and to tell you how popular Spirit has become. I ain't even had Spirit on the road a month. And matter of fact, if you go way back, I mean, there was right split bumper. Yeah, you're talking about the early 70s Camaros now. But yeah, when you go back to when we first got her, there was a lot of people like, I haven't seen one of those in years. Man, well, the day came, I was picking Princess Faye up, and I'd had the car on the road maybe 2 weeks. And there were some people in her restaurant where she was working. No, that was a totally different one. He actually got out of police work and started working for the city after that video. And now, from what I understand, he makes better money. But he was like, "I'm not gonna." He's like, "I just painted a target on my head." And it's like, "Yeah, you did." A lot of people wanted him strung up for that stunt. And then they started asking questions. I did a video not too long after that one that basically went over all the problems in Bonne Terre at the time, and basically was saying that this was extortion and that sort of thing. And the city of Bonne Terre, the you know the board basically was like, "This is not good. because I'm loving Fredericktown. I'm loving Fredericktown. Fredericktown's a great town. I love it up there. It's a different environment. And matter of fact, I seen my old boss from the other store, and she's like, "You actually look happy. I don't think I've ever seen you this happy at work." I said, "I am." Oh, there you go. Yeah. 73 doesn't get enough credit for being a good looking car. It's a good looking car. But yeah, I love them old, the old Camaros. And I like the ones in late in the 70s, early 80s. When they went over to the urethane bumpers and everything, I like those a little bit more. Those don't get enough credit for being good looking cars, but they are gorgeous rides. And there's still a lot of space under the hood. You pretty well fit whatever you want. You just got to know, if you're going to be cutting and chopping on the hood. That's it. But I will tell y'all right now, I love them old cars. Love them. But and I could go on for hours. But yeah, the old timer, he's like, he actually he's like yelling at his partner, while I was waiting for Princess Faye to come out from work. And finally, he's like, wait a minute. There you go. But he went off on him and his partner were arguing. He finally said, "Wait a minute, shut the hell up." And he looks at me, he said, "Young man, is that a Maverick?" I said, "That is a Maverick." He's like, "I went through like three of those when I was a young parent. And at one point I finally let him sit behind the wheel." Hey, what's going on, Ron? We're just talking old school car tech, but right now I'm actually telling a story about Project Spirit. Well, he when I finally let him sit behind the wheel of Project Spirit, he actually started tearing up, and he said, for a brief moment, I thought I was a young man all over again. He's like, I honestly thought I was a young man all over again. He said, I was ready to go. He said, I was ready to go home to the wife and kids. He's like, man. Oh, Bad Bad's awesome. I love Bad Bad. He's awesome. But oh yeah, he he started tearing up. He started having tears streaming down his face. Every guy that either had a friend that had one, or or remembers one from when or had one when they were a kid, when they were a teenager or something like that. At the moment they get behind the wheel of that car, they automatically are transported back in time with Project Spirit, and they immediately start thinking of when they were younger, and they'll start crying. Every man I've ever seen, grown men. Right? Oh, Bad Bad's just ornery. He's awesome though. I love Bad Bad. He's awesome. But yeah, immediately they get transported back in time, and automatically they start thinking of when they were young men, and they start crying when they realize when they have to come back to this time frame. I don't know what it is about Spirit. She does that all the time to older guys. Immediately when they sit down inside of her. I imagine it's like that for a lot of people. Uh, think different. I don't know if you've ever done that with let anyone do that with yours, and to see if that's a thing. But I don't. I know with Project Spirit it happens a lot. And as a matter of fact, there was one guy I actually sat in the passenger seat and let him drive Project Spirit around town for about 10 minutes, and he came back. He's like, "I'm in love." And he said, "I want to cry." He said, "Because I don't have mine anymore." He's like, "It was the dumbest thing letting that car go." Yeah, it's nostalgia kicking in. Well, we did have, I have let younger people sit behind the wheel of Project Spirit, and something weird happens. They immediately, their hands are on the wheel. We actually had to have someone's parents drag their teenage son out of the vehicle. Yeah, I seen that too. Drag them out of the vehicle. Like, look, you have to get out of the car. This is not, and he could not, he physically could not get himself to release that steering wheel. and his parent it had to grab him by the collar of his shirt. I've never seen anything like that. Never. We don't know what it is. And eventually I probably should do a spooky video on that. But yeah, we don't know what it is. Something about Project Spirit that immediately causes people yeah. Yeah, it's weird. We don't know what it is. She doesn't do anything like that to me or Princess Faye, but everybody else, she does that too. Don't know what it is. Haven't a clue. We're still trying to figure that one out. There's like this special contained, those stories like that. Project Spirit definitely fits into that category. Like the weird self-contained stories. She actually does fit that. We don't know what it is. We had one girl that I went to high school with her. Her daughter sat behind the wheel of that car for like 5 minutes. And immediately she's like, I don't know what it is. It's an old beat up car. I've seen them everywhere. And I've even drove a few of them. She's able to drive. She's 16, 17, and she's actually a parent now. And she's like, I haven't done anything with the bike. It's been too cold to really do anything, which right now I could probably get to work on it again, but I just haven't had the money to get everything else I need. But, so we don't even know what it is. We're still trying to figure all that one out, but hey, it is what it is, right? But any hoop-de-doo. Oh, I got a bicycle project I need to finish. It's ready to go. I just got to start putting it back together, but there's a couple things I got to get. But yeah, I got a bicycle project. Hey, what's going on? Jamie of the Isolationist Network. Good to see you, buddy. I haven't seen you in a minute. Yeah, we were just talking old car tech, and I was actually telling some weird stuff about Project Spirit, my old Maverick. We don't know what it is about that car, but weird things happen, and I'm going to have to do a video on it. Right, Ron? Yeah, that'd make one hell of a video, wouldn't it? We honestly, still to this day, don't know what it is about that old car. Oh, thank you so much, brother. No, it's a regular bicycle. It's just a regular bicycle to help me get into shape. Because we know that I'm going to be climbing back behind the wheel to do some hot rodding one-offs, and I want to be in better shape than I am right now. It'd probably help if I quit smoking so dang much. You go bring that up again. You go bring that up again. Third gen. Right. What's going on, Chairman? Dropping it. I know you've been busy, Chairman. How you been, buddy? Yeah, stop smoking then. It's on my to-do list. I don't, right now, my vape, my 2 vape pens quit on me, so we're waiting for the new vapes to come in. We're just waiting for the new ones to come in. That's all. They're in the mail. We got brand new ones coming, so I'll be rocking those. Yeah, Old Spirit, we don't know what it is. Everybody, there was, when we did the Jackson car show, your ass, man. How's Zelda? She's been good. She's been an ornery little shit today. But we don't know what it is. Oh, you're working on a book? You'll have to tell me. You'll have to tell me what it's about. Then I'm gonna have to read it. Yep. Most people don't know. I actually write my own content for my channel. I'm the writer, and I produce it, direct it. A lot of times I film it. Princess Faye has to, if the odometer runs backwards, we got trouble. Yeah, like Christine. Oh man, the movie. Yeah. Okay, y'all have seen that video clip where Project Spirit races down that old country road right after she got the front disc brakes, and then comes to that screeching stop. That was actually a funny story. There, that has a funny story behind it because that's not the whole clip. But when I did that, the friend of mine who was filming it, when I raced her down that road, the headlights come on. As soon as the headlights came on, if you listen, and I'll have to turn the volume up in that clip again, you actually hear a dog. No, I'm sorry, a coyote in the background. That was not planned. That actually did happen. Oh, bad. You got to finish that. When that was not planned, but it happened. But it was right before Halloween, so it worked out perfectly. So when that happened, the headlights came on. You hear the coyote in the background, and then I take off, and just and it came to that screeching halt. And when I stopped as hard as I did, and you hear that engine just and that whole thing. My buddy who was filming it, he said he actually had a nightmare that night, and because when that happened, he immediately thought of the movie Christine, and he said I actually had a bit of a nightmare because of that. He said he said it's right before Halloween. It was a little scary. It was a little scary, but he legit, yeah, my buddy T-Bone, who he did a lot of the work on that front disc brake conversion. And he's like, that's all I thought about was that movie. But yeah, which now you got me thinking. That's actually another one that I wouldn't mind having is an old Plymouth Fury, a 1958 Plymouth Fury, just like the movie Christine. I would love that. Yeah, exactly. Third gen, we have to do everything else around it too. I know your thinking and my thinking are a little bit different on that. That and where I'm at, it's been way too cold to do any painting. All right, Chairman, you rest up, buddy. It's been way too cold to do any painting. It would take like a million years for the freaking paint to dry. Believe it or not, it stayed at freezing. And every morning, you'll go out, frost on the windows, sort of thing. So it's been too cold to do any painting. You got to do that outside. Or in a well-ventilated shop, which I live in an apartment complex, so it ain't going to happen in no shop. Okay, you go rest up, Chairman. I understand. Get hair dryer. No, we won't do that. But I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. And you also got to remember, I have to get it set up where I can take her over to a friend's place. We got to do some welding and banging on some metal to straighten out some dents too, and get rid of some rust. Because she's got some serious rust starting to pop up. We got to do something about that. Because right around those headlight bezels is where we're starting to get some rust. I actually have some rust holes that start to crop up. So I don't know what it's going to be like once I get those things off. It could be nothing, or it could be ridiculously bad. So that's one of the reasons why it's like, I got to make sure that we take care of this when we get them off, have her take care of that. And then while I'm grinding down welds and redoing that fender, it's both of them that are doing it now. So we got to take care of that. And because as well as I do, if you take that thing off and it's all all chewed up under there from rust, as well as I do, they're not going to go back on. Then what? Then all that work was for what? So that's one of the reasons why I know you in a hurry for it. You know that it'll look good. I know it'll look good, but we got to do this, one step at a time here. Yeah, when the weather warms up and everything, because we're going to have to use body putty on some spots, which no more than 1/8 of an inch thick. There are still people that do that stupid crap. Cake body putty into area. No, don't do that. Why? Why do people do stupid stuff like that still? They know it's not going to actually fix it. It caked that crap in there, and then when they hit, then a couple months later, they hit a huge pothole, and it looks like it's one of those things that I don't want to just rush in and do the project, half-ass. I hate paying for the same real estate twice, and everyone should kind of gather that from me. If you do it once, do it right, and make sure it's done right. That way you don't have to backtrack, because there's nothing worse than that, especially when you're doing a project like that, because if you have to backtrack and straighten out your work from before because you did it wrong, well, then it costs you more money in the long run. So you want to do it right the first time. You don't want to half-ass anything. You can't half-ass a project like that. We're talking a vehicle that's, again, 46 years old. That's almost a half a century, and which third gen has his first car, which is a 73 Maverick. If I remember, 73. I know it's a Maverick. I just can't. I always think 74, but it's 73. 74 was a good year too for him. Good looking car. And if you haven't seen his, go over to his channel right now, right after the video, and check out his Maverick. Gorgeous ride. Beautiful car. Beautiful. Oh man, you haven't. Man, that is a gorgeous ride. I love his Maverick. Beautiful. Little thumper right there. I know it's not that bad, but it's one of those things that, again, hey, what's up, Raven? I'm not paying for the same real estate twice, okay? I know you're in a hurry on it, but just trust me, okay? Trust me. I know what I was doing on this. I got this. That, and we still got to replace the grill. All right. Oh, it's all good. It's all good. We're getting ready to wrap it up. I got to go nudge Princess Faye because she's going to have to get up for work soon. But you always got the playback. It's all good. It's all good, brother. But yeah, we're believe it or not, I'm gonna have to break out Spirits trophies again. But yeah, if you ever see the video clip where all the trophies are across Project Spirits hood, those are all her trophies. Those are her trophies from car shows. Even as banged up and as beat up as she is, she still gets trophies. No. I wouldn't do that to her. I'll be on here in a little bit. We got to go. I know at some point we got to go get the Predator skin. That's going to be so cool. Yeah, we got to go do that. Which I know every freaking scuzz bucket from here to, from here to China is after that dang thing. If people in China are allowed to play Fortnite. I guess if you're in the CCP. But, oh yeah. Well, all right, folks. Again, more content about Project Spirit, Project Lena in the... All right. It's both live right now. Awesome. I know you don't remove the headlights. I've had it apart before the rust really started. One step at a time. One step at a time. Just trust me. We're going to be pulling the whole front clip anyways. So that's the best time to do it. I just got to take it over to a friend's. We got to pull the whole front clip. All that's got to come out. And there's dents, dings, and rust, and small rust holes that got to be taken care of. Because I'm not doing this again. I'm not pulling anything apart again if I don't have to. Oh, is she dirty right now? Ah, shoot. It happens. It's winter. All right. Awesome, brother. But anyhow, all right. So I got to wind it down for the night. I got to go wake up Princess Faye, get her ready. That sort of thing. They have it. They have it already, kind of, sort of. There's actually right. But the thing of it is that it's not a matter of fear. It's a matter of I want to do this right. Remember, whenever when you had said, "All you got to do is this," and I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. We're gonna do it like this." And you're like, "I think you might be getting it over your head." When we did the tail light panel, and how did it turn out? You're like, "All right, I see what you're doing. Okay, you got this. You got this." It's the same thing in this case, right? Bad. He's awesome. If you remember when I did that, you're like, "All right, I see what you're doing." Oh, you're glad I did the lawn? Okay, I appreciate that, man. All right, folks. I do need to go grab the little lady. I gotta go wake her up. Awesome. So that brings us to a usual. Right? Yeah, she goes in at 10 o'clock. So, all right. Doing the hustle. It's bad. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I gotta grab the right mats. But I got something funny that we're gonna be doing with that. And I might drag you in on it, but I got an idea for it. It's gonna be funny as hell. All righty. So that does bring us to a good stopping point. You guys are awesome. I love y'all. You know. Tomorrow is sober talk. I just felt like doing something simple tonight. Right? So, as always, as I would shut down the stream, yep. Well, we got the hours. We just got to get the monetization from here. But that does bring us to the spot where I get to say to all of you, get out there and work on a project. Don't care what it is. Just do something with yourself. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet. Yeah, Fortnite. Sweep them off their feet and do something special for them today. And as always, for all of you out there, if no one out there has told any of you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.